Vim. It's one of the most powerful and feature-rich editor, and a lot of people find it quite intimidating to work with Vim. But if you master some of the keys and shortcuts in Vim, that will go a long way and make you more efficient as a programmer. So in this video, my goal is not to show you everything that Vim offers, because that would be an information overload and you will not be able to retain it just from a single video. But my goal is to logically give you some tricks and patterns and some shortcuts in a way that you will retain the information once you finish watching this video. And if your intention is to appear for these exams CKD or CKA, then you probably know that you will need to interact with Vim editor. So in that case, knowing these kind of shortcuts will definitely make you more efficient and save you some time in your exam. And it's not just limited to these exams. If you learn these shortcuts, you can even use them in your day-to-day job, or even like add plugins for Vim in your other IDEs like VS Code or JetBrains. And you can essentially make use of these keys and shortcuts in those editors as well. So I just generated this fresh file from an imperative command, and this is the file for deployment definition. And we are going to practice our Vim shortcuts within this file. Okay, the way I've organized it is, first we'll take a look at all the modes, all the different modes of Vim editor. Then we'll take a look at how to navigate efficiently. Then we'll take a look at how to edit efficiently. And finally, we'll see how to save and exit. So let's start with that. In the modes, we have 4 different modes. The first one is normal. Then we have insert, visual, and lastly we have replace mode. Let me clear the board and let's look at each of these modes. So in the normal mode, all your alphanumeric keys behave like the operators or motion keys. So they are basically used for navigating around, and you will not be able to type anything in normal mode. Once you enter into the insert mode, your alphanumeric keys can be used as normal, and you will be able to type the text or numbers. Then we have visual mode, and in visual mode you can select the text without the use of mouse. And lastly we have replace, in which you can basically replace already typed characters with the new ones. So most of the time we will be spending in the normal mode initially, and normal mode is the default. So when you actually start the Vim editor, when you just create a file and you are going to be dropped in the normal mode. In the status bar you'll see this is a normal mode, and if you hit I, you can see now you are in insert mode. So in normal mode you can use the keys J, K, L, H to go up and down, right and left. And you can also use your cursor keys, but usually for the sake of efficiency, because your right hand fingers are always placed on J, K, L and colon keys, that's why you have these shortcuts like H, J, K, L, which help you navigate around. I know it is quite confusing, and initially when I learned, I was very confused. So what helped me was to think of J like a downward pointing arrow. Because of the shape of J, it is downward pointing. Similarly, if you rotate K, it becomes like this, and you can imagine it to be facing upwards, and actually K helps you navigate upwards. Then you have L, and if you add the arrow towards the end, you can see that it is pointed to the right. And with the H, if you just extend this and put the arrow there, you can imagine it to be pointing to the left. So once again, J, K for upwards, L for right, and H for left. Let's say now I'm at the very beginning of the file, so I can go down with J, go up with K, L to the right, left. But if you see, this is not very efficient, and we want to be able to navigate faster than this. So there are several ways to do this. What you can do is, first one is you have these motion keys, and the most basic motion keys are W, then you have E, B, dollar, and 0. So W stands for word, E is for end of something, B is for going to the back, dollar is for end of line, and 0 is for beginning of line. Okay, so let's see this in action. So as you can see, I'm at the beginning of the file, the first character of the file. Okay, if I hit W, I land on colon. So when you hit small w, all the special characters are considered as a separate word. And with the B, I can go back. If I hit E, I go to the end of that word. So I'm on N as opposed to colon. Once again, B, the beginning of the word. And now let's say I want to go directly to apps, like I want to land here. So what I can do is hit capital W, and it will actually ignore the special character and the space, and it will directly jump to the first character of next word. So special characters in this case is considered as a part of this word. Okay, once again, if I just hit small b, I'll land on colon, but if I hit capital B, I go to the beginning of this word. So special characters in this case are ignored, and you're just going back to the beginning of previous word. Similarly, E is for going to the end of the word. So as you know, like colon is considered as separate word when I hit small e, but if I hit capital E, it goes to the end of this word, including special character. So that is the difference. And dollar is to jump directly to the end of the line, last character of the line. 0 is to jump to the first character in the line. So now we know how to move back and forth in this order, and you can use the numbers as well. So let's say I want to jump 2 words, I can just do 2W, and that again landed me on this word as opposed to this one. So if you noticed me, I actually used smaller w, so along with 2W, and it acted as if I skipped 2 words. Let me type some more words here so it becomes clear. Okay, so let's say I want to jump 5 words. I can just do 5W, and I skipped 5 words and I landed on the first character of this word. Similarly, I can do 5E and I land on the last character of this word. And for going back, you can do the same thing. 3B goes to the beginning of 3 words behind. All right. So now we know how to move back and forth. If you want to move down and up, you can do the same thing basically. So you can just add the number. Let's say I want to skip 4 lines. You can just do 4J, and I directly went on the 5th line. Okay, and I can go back by typing same thing like 4K, and I'm on the first line. I can also use the line numbers. So let's say I want to go to this strategy thing, right? That's on line 13. Just have to type colon 13, enter, and now I'm on the beginning of line 13. Let's say I want to go to line 24. You have 2 options here. You can just do 24 and you land at the beginning of that line, or let's say I'm back to line 13, and or I can also do capital G. Capital G always takes you to the end of the file, and if you hit GG twice, it takes you to the beginning of the file. So you're on the first line, beginning of the file. So now we know how to move around, and another way to move around is by using search. So for search, let's say I want to jump at the first occurrence of Nginx. My cursor is here now. So I can just type /Nginx, and my cursor is placed on the first character of that word. Let's say I want to go to the next occurrence. I can just press small n, small n, small n, small n, and it jumps to the next occurrence. Likewise, if I want to go in the backward direction, I can hit capital N and keep going backward. So if my cursor was placed something like on line, let's say on line 16, and I wanted to search for Nginx but go to the previous occurrence and not the next one, what I can do is, instead of typing slash, I can just type question mark engine X, and I go to the occurrence that was before the cursor. So in summary, we know now how to navigate. We can use the line numbers. If you want to go to the end of the file, we can use capital G. If you want to go to the beginning of the file, you can use GG. So let me just note it down here. So GG to the beginning of file, capital G to end of file. You can also use line numbers, so number to land on that number, or you can use search and type the word and you will go to that word. Another option I will show you, and I swear this is the last one. So let's go to the beginning of the file with GG. And let's say I want to land on this special character here, slash. What I can do is I can type F and it will jump to the next character that I will type, slash. It directly went to that character. And let's say I want to go to this V here. Now this is behind the cursor, so I can just use capital F and V. And now it jumped to that V. Once again, I want to go to 1 year, and let's say I want to change something there, I can just do F1. So now we know how to navigate around, we know what the use of normal mode is. Now we're going to take a look at the insert mode. So let me clear the screen. Alright, so let's say I want to manually type something, I can just do I. I puts me in the insert mode and I can start typing the characters before the cursor. So right now my cursor is placed on number 1, and if you see now, whatever I type comes before 1. And the opposite of that is A. So if I type A, that is like appending after the cursor. So when I start typing, all the characters go after the cursor. U, by the way, U is for undo. So whatever changes you make, you can hit U and just undo the changes. And let's say I want to insert something at the beginning of the line. So what I can do is first go to the beginning of the line, then hit I and start typing. But there's another way to do it. So I'm, let's say, in between the line, all I can do is hit capital I. That puts me in the beginning of the line, and I can start typing. Similarly, if I hit capital A, that puts me to the end of the line and I can start typing there. So A is for append, I is for insert, but it inserts before the cursor, A is after the cursor. Now let's say I want to type something but not on this line, on the next line. I can just use O, it puts me in the next line and I can start typing something here. But if I want to type something before this line, I can just use capital O, it shifts everything one line below and makes space for adding the text. So these are all the different ways you can enter into the insert mode. And the last one I'll show you is S. So I puts the characters before the cursor. A puts the characters after the cursor. But then S puts the character right under the cursor. So it will remove A and let me type anything right under the cursor. And likewise, if I use capital S, it will remove the entire line and make space for adding anything here. So once again, just to summarize, in insert mode, we can enter the insert mode in 4 different ways using I, A, O, and S. And similarly, you can use capital I, capital A, capital O, capital S. This will take you to the beginning of the line, end of line. O will be like one line above, insert one line above, and small o will insert one line below, insert line below. S will delete character from under the cursor and let you insert there, and capital S will delete the whole line and let you insert whatever you want. All right. So that was insert mode. We covered normal and insert mode, and you saw how we can add something, how we can navigate around the file. The next mode is visual mode, and we will see how to select things. So once again, I'm at the beginning of the file, and let's say I just want to select something and do something with that. So I can enter into visual mode using V, and I can use our same motion keys. So L for right, J for bottom, K for up, and H for left. Likewise, I can also use the numbers. So let's say I can select 5 characters from here, 5V, and it selects 5 characters. So in visual mode, you have, once again, you have 3 different modes. Small v is for selecting the characters, and you can select the characters like this. Can you guess what capital V stands for? Selecting the line, right? As you can see, the whole line is highlighted now. And the third mode is by pressing Ctrl V, it enters into visual block, and you can actually select just the first character of the block, and whatever you want, you have complete control over here. Let's say I just want to insert something in front of this block. So I can just do like blah, escape, and now if you see, it has replaced on all the lines. So in visual mode, once again, you have 3 different modes, and you can do operations, and everything has its place. And once we come to editing part, we will see how we can use these different modes and things like that. The last mode is the replace mode. It's the most simplest to understand. All you have to do is press capital R, and you enter into the replace mode, and whatever you type will replace the characters under the cursor. And let's say if you just want to change one character, let's say I'm here on 1, just want to make it 2. So I can just hit R, the small r, and change it to 2. So small r will just take like one character and replace the character under the cursor. So we have covered all the different modes, and we have seen how to insert, how to navigate around the file and things like that. Now the most important part is to edit the files. And for this, again, you have several ways. So Vim, the beautiful part about Vim is it is a language in itself. And if you learn the Vim language, it's easier to logically form these patterns. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you now. So Vim language. Okay. So you have some certain special characters like C, D, Y. Okay. And then you have W, E, B, $, and 0. So we already saw this W, E, B, $, 0. These are like the motion keys, and we already saw their uses, right? Now these are used for cut, copy, paste. Think of them like that, okay? And C is for change, D is for delete, and Y is for yank. Pretty fancy term. Yank is nothing but a copy command, okay? And let me show you these in action. These keys are called operators, and you can use these operators with the motion keys. So let me show you now. C is like for change, but if you just press C, nothing happens. It waits for the next instruction. So let's say I want to change that whole word, API version, right? So I can just hit W, that's the motion, and now I can change whatever I want. Once again, I'll undo that. Likewise, once again, if I want to change everything, including the colon, I can do C, capital W, and the same logic stands, right? Like it considers special characters as the part of the word. Similarly, if I want to delete just this word API version, I can just do DW and it deletes it. And let's say I want to do it including the special characters, I can just do DW. So the difference between C and D is basically C will put you in the insert mode. So it will remove that whole word and you'll be able to type directly. And D will actually just delete the word without putting you into insert mode. And likewise, let's say I'm here and I want to change something behind, like the whole word till the beginning of the word. I can just do CB and start typing, or I can just delete, like, so let's say I'm here, I want to delete it till the beginning of the word. I can just do DB, class, DB. You saw what happened here. Because slash is considered a separate word, when you use small b, it only deleted that. But let's say I want to ignore that and consider it as a part of the bigger word, I can just do DB and it deleted that. Similarly, yank is for copying. So if I just do like YW, it copied the whole word before the colon. So if I go all the way down here and let's say I want to paste it here somewhere, I just hit T, and as you can see, that was copied. Let's undo that. GG. And this time I want to copy including the colon. So YW. And go to the end of the file, enter new line and paste it here, and you'll see that I copied till the colon. And you can use this also in combination with the numbered motion. So what I mean is, let's say I want to once again delete, let me add some numbers, some characters here, random placeholders. And let's say I'm placed here. I want to change next 3 words. So I can just do C3W, and now I can change anything. Similarly, if I want to delete the next 3 words, including the current one, I can just do D3W, and it got removed. For yanking or copying, again, it's the same. So you can just do Y3W and it would copy the next 3 words. And if you want to change the whole line, you can either use CC and it will change the whole line, like you will be able to now type, or you can use capital C and once again it will change the whole line. Similarly, if you're in the middle of the line and you press DD twice, like if you press D twice, you'll get rid of that line. But if you are here in the middle of the line and press capital D, then in that case you will be deleting everything from that cursor till the end of the line. And same way, if you use if you use $, you're deleting everything till the end of line. If you use D0, you're deleting everything till the beginning of the line. Let me put something in between these brackets. So what I'm going to do is place my cursor on that bracket and append it. And let's say I'm typing something here. And let's say I want to change the text between those brackets. So I can place my cursor anywhere within the bracket or on top of the bracket and just press change inside bracket and change anything I want here. Similarly, if I do delete inside bracket, it will delete everything inside the bracket. And let's say I want to even delete the bracket itself. So I can just do delete a bracket and it removes even the brackets. And here I didn't want that strategy line, so I can just do DD. And for these kind of operations, like if you have used some operator, what you can also do is, let's say I want to delete multiple lines. So if I can just do like DD, 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 and so instead of doing that, what I can do is just use full stop and it will repeat the previous action. So my last action was DD. If I just press dot, it will repeat that. Now let's say I want to modify the name of this object. Everywhere it is Nginx, but I want to maintain the image the same, but I want to modify the labels, the name of this object and everything. So what I can do is, there's a command for that. Use %s, type out the word that you want to replace, Nginx, and let's say I want it to be like front end. And pressing G will change it globally, but you want confirmation because you don't want to change the name of the image. That would actually error out, right? So you want with the confirmation. So GC, And now if you see, it is asking your permission to replace the first word that is highlighted there. If I press Y, it replaces that Y. But now I don't want to replace the image, so I can just press N and it will go to the next word, Y. And as you can see now, all the words are replaced. And if I just want to go to, let's say I want to just go to line number 12 and go to the front end and replace this, I can just use C, and using capital C, I actually changed line from the place of cursor. So I just changed everything from that point onwards. Now, in YAML files, indentation is one of the most important things. So you can also set it as colon set auto indent. And what that will do is, if you go to the next line, you'll see the cursor is not at the very beginning of the line. It is placed at the same indentation level as the app. But let's say if your indentation was disturbed, like let's say this was something like this and the indentation is wrong. So you can just place your cursor at the beginning of the word and you shift and the bracket, like the direction in which you want to go, press that 2 times and it will tab out that word. Similarly, if you want to go back, you can just use the less than symbol and it will take tab in the reverse direction, tab in the forward direction. Yeah. So I think I have covered everything right now, and I've shown you several ways of achieving a single thing. And all you need to do is just keep progressively adopting these new techniques and keep practicing them. And definitely that will help you a lot in your exams. And finally, let me show you how to exit the file. So let's say you made some changes here, and obviously we did. What you can do is colon WQ. And basically WQ is like write this file and quit. That means save the file and quit. And now it has saved the file. Once again, you go back inside the file and you see our changes are there. Let's say I made some more changes, but now I don't want to preserve these changes. So what I can do is just hit Q and exclamation mark, and without changing the file, I can exit the Vim. And now once again, if I open the file, you'll see that my changes were not saved from the previous edit. And if I have not made any changes, I can just quit the Vim with the use of Q and enter. So that's about it, guys, and I hope you found this video useful, and probably it will help you with your exams. And yeah, all the best for the exams.